Ladies and gentle weebs, my fellow flames of Amethyst, welcome back to another Wuthering Waves video. My name is the Amethyst Abrams, and today we're going to be discussing whether Wuthering Waves 1.3 is either going to elevate and bring Wuthering Waves back to the pinnacle of all gacha games, or is it going to be a flop, and why Kuro Games needs this update to be a massive success. Otherwise, people are going to lose faith in the game. People are going to lose faith in Kuro Games, and the decline of popularity and revenue is going to keep on going. And here's the thing, Wuthering Waves isn't a bad game. In fact, it's a very good open world gacha game. However, upon the launch of Wuthering Waves way back in May, I believe, the end of May, the launch was very rocky. We didn't exactly get the game that we were promised, and it released in such a way where people were not very happy with the state of the game. Now, Kuro Games was very quick to correct these issues by not only compensating us, but also patching the game over and over and over again, with multiple hotfixes and multiple updates through the first few weeks of the game's release. And then with the release of 1.1, we got a lot of new optimization corrections and a lot of new story and gameplay, game of life elements, and the game improved massively, and people wanted more of this going forward, and people were enjoying the story. Now granted, the 1.0 story wasn't the best, it definitely had its flaws, but I was one of the people that actually enjoyed the Wuthering Waves 1.0 story, and I very much enjoyed the Wuthering Waves 1.1 story, but I do understand that these things have their flaws, and both of the stories and both of the patches were not perfect. Then along came Wuthering Waves 1.2, and it was renowned as a filler patch. However, I believe the way Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves handled this filler patch with this festival, I think was very well done. However, because of the lack of anticipated and hyped characters, and because of the lack of content, well, not necessarily lack of content, but the content that people wanted the main story, people wanted stories around Rover, and with the announcement of Shorekeeper and the Black Shores just before 1.2, I believe people have been holding off until 1.3's release, which is set to release within the next 4 days. And if you're excited for 1.3 as much as I am, then this update is going to be potentially one of the biggest Kuro Games has ever had, potentially. But here's the thing, if Kuro Games misses with this 1.3 update, is this going to be detrimental to the game's lifespan? If the story isn't as good as people are hoping for, or isn't as good as the people think it's going to be, is this update going to be the death of Wuthering Waves? Is this update going to be the nail in the coffin for the game, and is this game going to is this update going to be the update that shoots it on sight and kills the game, or is it going to be the update that brings it back into the top tier popularities, the top spots, the top 3, top 5, just up there with Genshin, with HSR, with Love and Deep Space? Is it going to bring the game back up to that kind of popularity? My opinion is, I hope so, I want it to, but do I think it will? I'm not too sure. We got the launch trailer, we got the update live stream a few days ago, and the update looks really, really good. We're getting so many new events, we're getting a brand new story. Shorekeeper is one of the best designed characters in the game, and one of the most sought after characters as of right now, if you're not including Camellia, which is releasing in 1.4. Camellia we're not quite talking about right now, we're talking about 1.3 only, and how this update is going to be the key to Wuthering Waves' success, or it's going to be the key to Wuthering Waves' downfall. If this update ends up being underwhelming, and if this update ends up being not as good as people hoped and wanted it to be, I believe this is going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and it's going to leave a bit of a worry in everyone's hearts about Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves and where they're going. I love the game. I am a massive, I am called the Kuro Kid. Like, people call me the Kuro Kid, the Kuro Stan, Kuro, like, shill, whatever. I don't care. I love this game. I love the other gacha games as well. I love HSR, Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle. I love Dragon Ball Legends. I'm looking forward to the Black Beacon, which is another really, really nice looking gacha game coming out. I've played so many gacha games, and I'm a fan of so many, but Wuthering Waves is one of those gacha games that really captured my heart and really captured my attention, and I've not been one to come away from the game ever since I first noticed it all those months to years ago. And I've been keeping an eye on this game, and I really want this game to do well, as I know a lot of people want this game to do well. And a lot of people want this game to be the #1 gacha game, or at least definitely in the top 3 permanently, competing with Genshin, competing with HSR, and competing with Love and Deep Space. Now, Love and Deep Space isn't of the same genre as Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves, however, it is at the moment one of the more popular gacha games, especially with the release of Silas that happened a couple of months prior, which is what put it on the top spot for that month where Silas was released. Now, with this 1.3 update, the story needs to be absolutely creme de la creme, chef's kiss. It needs to be something amazing. It needs to capture us. It needs to tug on the heartstrings. We need to be in awe and wowed most of the time during this update story. Now, I know the story can't be action and can't be just crazy 100% of the time, but if they can capture us and keep our attention there for at least 80 to 90% of the story, then this update is going to be amazing. I mean, already we've got like 6 or 7 new challenges. We have got 6 or 7 brand new challenges. One of them is focusing on multiplayer, enabling you and a friend to take on different bosses from the world of Wuthering Waves together, and that is something I've wanted for a while, since we haven't got weekly boss co-op, and since we haven't got hologram co-op. The only co-op boss fights we have are the overworld co-op bosses, and if you work together to defeat those, it's next to nothing. It's so easy. You can take on the overworld bosses so easily and kill them within seconds. With this challenge, hopefully there will be a difficulty setting, and we'll be able to actually have some sort of challenge when we're playing with our friends, challenging these bosses. And I hope more multiplayer game modes become more permanent, and I hope they introduce more multiplayer game modes as the story goes on. But that isn't the only challenges we got. That isn't the only events that we've got. You've got like a new Depths of Elusive Realm substitute mode with the portal mechanic, where it looks like you're going to be playing Portal alongside going through these really cool gates that lead to different realms, different puzzles, different challenges to overcome, and that is something I'm very much looking forward to. We've got the brand new companion story with Encore, which I'm very much looking forward to as well, as I'm a huge fan of Encore, and I want to see her origin and where she comes from. Shorekeeper's releasing, one of the best designed characters to date, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how she plays and how she handles. Verena mains are going to have to bench Verena temporarily, but I think Verena won't have a problem with that, because she has been the full healing support unit since launch, and I think Verena does need a little bit of a break. Besides, we have the new Powerpuff Girl team with Encore, Verena, and Yoo-Hoo, so people are probably going to try that team out. I definitely am when I have all 3 of those characters. We also need to understand that we are going to the Black Shores area as well, which means there's going to be more for us to explore, and I believe there's going to be multiple floors. So do you remember in Mount Firmament where you had the base mountain, and underneath you had different chambers and different levels of the mountain that extended the map? It's going to be very similar with the Black Shores. And I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I would like the story to take us around the whole map, not leave it to the audience to just explore in their spare time. Because I think if each part of the map and each part of the world, the new part of the world we're going to, is incorporated in the story, it means that we're going to have to go there anyway, and if it's important to the story, it kind of means that we don't have to go on it on a whim and don't have to do it on our own. We can actually enjoy the story and enjoy the new aspects of the Black Shores new map together, rather than we do the story, now we've got to go through, now we need to actually go out and explore the map, and not everyone wants to do that. I'm one of the people that can do that. I did that at Mount Firmament. I literally just I explored Mount Firmament and just spoke to a few of my pals and just had a good time doing that, because it's very laid back and chilled. But not everyone wants to do that. People want to explore and encounter and experience the world and experience the new maps while the story is taking place as well, because I think it puts them in more of an immersive atmosphere. I'm not too sure, but I think that's the case, and I think it's sort of 2 birds, 1 stone. You're getting to know the lay of the land and also enjoying the story at the same time. So I do believe that's what people mean when it comes to that. I do really think this update is going to be the death of Wuthering Waves, or it's going to be the massive success that everyone wants it to be, because 1.0, though it was a very rocky start and a very rocky launch, the game was very popular. 1.1 brought a lot of popularity to it because the story was really good. Mount Firmament was a very big map for the first update. 1.2 slowed down completely, however, the way they handled that update was very well done. It didn't feel like anything dragged on. It didn't feel like a throwaway update. It felt like everything was sorted out. The new character, Zhang Li Yao, actually felt like a good character. Like, I enjoyed his story, granted of his design. I know people don't always Haven't always enjoyed Zhang Liao's design, but I think Zhang Liao has grown on a lot of people. But I think 1.3 has to be a hit. It has to be a banger of an update for Kuro Games. Otherwise, Kuro Games is going to be in hot water when it comes to the player base, because if you just saw the trailer for this update looks huge. The update looks massive. The story looks insane. It looks like so much lore is just going on. It looks like there's a lot of action. It looks like there's going to be a lot of story elements surrounding Shorekeeper, Rover, Camellia, and the rest of the Black Shores. It looks like the events are going to be absolutely amazing and are going to take up a lot of our time, and we're not going to get bored. The exploration, I hope, isn't too individuals, which means, what I mean by that is I hope it isn't just us doing it on our own without any prompts from missions or story. Like I said, as much as I enjoy that, other people don't, and I understand that people want to incorporate that with the story and other missions as well. We're getting a brand new 4-star weapon set, which is pretty cool. We haven't actually had a new 4-star weapon set before, other than unless you include the battle pass, but again, that was there since launch. But a brand new 4-star weapon set is really good. Obviously we get Yoo-Hoo, which is incorporating a brand new mechanic to the game, which looks really cool with her quick time events and her ultimate, which I believe is going to either debuff, buff, or cause massive damage. Now, please, I trust that Kuro Games are listening to us, and I am doing my best to be patient with Kuro Games, and I want this update to be a massive success. But the story has to be a massive hit. The events need to be engaging. After this update, if I'm not wanting more, and if I'm not like, oh my god, the best update so far, I want more. If this is what Kuro can give us, then sign me up. If I'm not like that at the end of 1.3, then I think there's going to be a bit of an issue. And I think a lot of people are going to be in the same boat when it comes to that. Okay, I'm always going to play Wuthering Waves. I'm always going to support Wuthering Waves. I'm one of the people that really want to eventually possibly voice acting Wuthering Waves, considering that I am a new starting out voice actor. I've just hit my 2nd year of voice acting, and voice acting in a game like this would be a dream of mine. But that's a video for a different time. But the point is, I really love this game, and I support Kuro Games. I support Wuthering Waves, and I want these updates to be hits, and I want these updates to be successful, which means that Wuthering Waves can come back into the fold and can elevate back up to the top spots of the gacha revenue and the gacha popularity. Anyway, guys, this was a really quick thing, a really quick worry video, because I do worry about Wuthering Waves at times, because I do see how many people shit on the game, and I do see how many people have doubts about the game, and rightly so. Everyone can have their opinion and doubts on these games. But I just wanted to put my 10, my 10 pence in, and just sort of let you guys know that I'm very much excited for this update, but at the same time I have my worries, and this is the reason why I have my worries, because 1.3 looks like a 10 out of 10 update, but if it isn't at least past an 8, I don't think it's going to sit well with the fans, and I think a lot more people are going to just clock out and look for something else, or go back to HSR if they haven't been on it for a while, or Genshin, or other open world gachas, coming up soon, like Project Mugen and Neverness to Everness, So this game needs to release this as a banger. And if it is a 2-part story, which I think it may be, then 1.3 and 1.4 need to be absolutely outstanding stories. But that's my opinion on this matter. That's that video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.